Alright everyone, so for the next 3 days, we're going to be kayaking up the ancient river of monsters, the Mary River, which is located here on the Sunshine Coast in this huge valley. Now, the reason why I call this place the ancient river of monsters is because this river is over 100 million years old and holds life for so many species. About 10 years ago, there was 2 big saltwater crocodiles that were confirmed to have been living out in the mouth of this river. The only thing stopping them from getting up this far is a couple of man-made weirs. So there's no crocodiles that live in this part of the river at the moment, but what are the species of river monsters that do live in here? There's going to be 2 main endangered species that we're going to be trying to find and film over the next few days. The first one being a species that's older than this river itself and hasn't changed its appearance too much in that time, the lungfish. So hundreds of millions of years ago, there was a mass extinction event which wiped out 95% of marine life. This is one of the species that survived. So when we actually find this creature and swim with it later on in this episode, you're literally looking at a living fossil. And the second species that we're going to be trying to track down is just as big and just as insane, the Mary River cod. Now, I'm confident in finding the lungfish, and I'm even confident in finding smaller Mary River cod. But if we're able to find a pool that one of these big meter-plus cod are living in, it will be the most insane thing. And I've never seen anyone film an episode getting footage like this before of these 2 species. Now, we're going to be kayaking up this creek, and you can see a lot of sections of it is actually shallow, but what that means is when you find a really deep pool, that's where a lot of the bigger fish will congregate in, and that's the areas that you'll focus on. So I was just flying my drone up this shallow section of river, and you can see the bottom of it is a lot of sand, a lot of rocks, so any big fish that are sitting on the bottom, you can see them really well. And it's crazy, you're flying the drone along and you spot a big dark shape sitting on the bottom, and it's one of these living fossils, these lungfish. First up in the morning, we're gonna go for a bit of a dive, try to swim with one of these big lungfish, continue heading down the river, catch some food for lunch, hopefully one of those big bass, and yeah, camp up here tonight, go for a night snorkel later on and see what species are lurking around after dark. I've never actually snorkeled with one of these big lungfish during the day before, but as I was flying over this deeper pool down here, there's heaps of fish sitting off this one big log in the river, and I saw a big lungfish about 5 minutes ago swim out from that log and go into this little cave-like area. We're gonna drift over in the kayak, see if we can spot any, and then get in the water itself, see if we can get up close to one of these big living fossils. Have a go at this. Are you kidding? Now this is gonna be perfect for night snorkeling later on. That is absolutely crazy under there. I did not expect to start the video like that. So I was swimming around, lots of other fish in the shallows, lots of big schools of mullet, and I came over this log and actually spotted a huge lungfish. This is a pretty good size one, sitting down on the bottom, blending into that log. And instead of sticking around the bottom, which these fish normally do, he fully swam up to the top of the water column and was cruising around the log. So cool to see in person. So the crazy thing about that fish that we just snorkeled with is over in Africa, those fish have been known to actually live for up to 5 years buried in the mud if there's major droughts. So what they'll actually do is they'll create little air holes to the top of the surface, bury themselves in the mud, and they'll sit there for up to 5 years. It's absolutely crazy. And I was thinking about it, that would be so terrible. Imagine sitting in mud for 5 years, not being able to do anything. I reckon after after about 45 minutes, I'd be done. Seal the air hole back up. But yeah, it's crazy what some animals can do to survive. Absolutely amazing. And I'm so blessed. I feel so blessed that I'm able to be in its natural habitat with a living fossil. That thing we were just with, that exact creature, was swimming around in that same appearance hundreds of millions of years ago. And this river that we're in right now is also over 100 million years old. Like, are you kidding me? And I did not think we were going to find a Mary River cod that quick. I thought it would have been a lot harder to find a big one, but straight away, I swim down another snag and see this big fella sitting underneath it. He was really chill and inquisitive as well. He would swim off, but then he would always end up coming back and checking me out, getting real close to me, which is an awesome experience and connection to have with an animal like a Mary River cod, like the species that we were trying to find in this video. So what we're gonna do now is, I'm getting a bit hungry. It's been a big morning so far. So I'm gonna head further down the river, try and catch some fish that we can cook up. It'd be so good to get a little bass. I might even try get one around this snag. There was a few swimming around there. I'll get one of my rods out and see if we can get anything. So just down there, there's a big Australian bass sitting just under the log. Now, it's in a pretty crazy place if it decides to run around some things. But we're gonna go down there, put a cast on its head and see if we can get it. So many big fish swimming around right there. There we go. Look at that. How cool is that? A little wild Australian bass in this crystal clear creek. Just sight casted him down there. Good to know that they're biting even when it's this cold. Take a look at that. There was a huge one sitting down there next to him. All right, see you, mate. So the plan now is I'm gonna keep my wetsuit on and head further down this creek, see if we can catch myself some breakfast, cook it up on the bank. Look how crystal clear this water is. We've got to go down these rapids, got one little section of river, and then we'll get to a big deep pool that holds a lot of Australian bass that we'll try catch. See if we can do it standing up. Oh, no we won't. Let's go. And it's a river that changes so much from where it actually starts to how it looks out at the ocean is so different. All right, we'll definitely stand up going down these ones. We're moving. Oh, no we won't. Just as we're kayaking down here, take a look at this. Wow. It's not only the animals that are so crazy out here. Look at that tree. Looks like eventually this is going to come down and create some new habitat for so many animals that live in this creek. I've actually seen platypus go back up under that little root system there that have a little burrow up under the bank. Oh, that is a huge Saratoga. Oh, So a Saratoga is a fish that I've only caught one other time while I was fishing in a dam years and years ago. And they are true river monsters. They're a crazy looking fish. And the good thing about it is it's stuck in this one little pool here. So I reckon if I come down here with some lures tomorrow morning after camping up this creek, we might even be able to catch this fish. I'm not writing it off that we're not going to catch it right now, but they are a pretty hard fish to target. What's that? We're on. Finally, it's fighting like a catty. Yeah, there we go. Not the target species, but at least we're on the board and we know that the fish are biting in here. Look at that, so cool catching them in this crystal clear water. All right, see you later, mate. Whoa, there he goes. All right, we'll get it back out there. There's something. Oh, what is this? Doesn't feel too bad. Surely a big bass. Whoa, this one's got cool colors on it. Pretty big one as well. Look at how crazy those colors are on that big catty. See ya, mate. All right, we're just getting a run on this rod. There we go. What's that? What? That mullet has just eaten a little shrimp. And these mullet, I'm not sure about here in the freshwater, but they're actually really good eating. Take a look at that big fella, missing part of his tail. All right, your lunch, mate. So we're just getting a run on this one. Hopefully this is the Saratoga. There we go. Is this the toga? Surely. Oh, another catfish, please. I've had enough. All right. I think my other rod's going off already. There we go. Oh. What is that? Oh, it's a stick. Well, that's even worse than a catfish. What's crazy to me is all of these fish that I'm catching aren't moving up and down this river, because from up there until that corner down there is a closed off pool. So they're all living together in here. Now I'm catching so many catties. I might, oh, there we go. Oh, that feels all right. Oh, that's actually pretty solid. Hopefully this is a big bass. What I'm gonna do after I get this fish in is we're actually gonna head out there into the deeper section. I reckon it might be about 4 meters deep out there, and go for a bit of a snorkel and actually see the fish that I'm casting at. Oh, it is a mullet. I think I foul hooked a mullet. Oh, I foul hooked a mullet. No. All right, well, you might be lunch as well, mate. You saw how many mullet were cruising through this pool a little bit earlier. That is a good fish right there, solid fish. All right, I gotta see this for myself. How many catfish are living in that place that I've been casting? Because I've caught 7 in about 8 casts. Must be a pretty good population of them. Might even try swim with that Saratoga. That was one of the craziest things that I've ever seen. We just dived down into about a 4-meter deep pool, and on the first drop, the first dive down, we're greeted by, I think, about 4 lungfish, heaps of turtles, catfish, all in that place that I was fishing, which means we're not gonna fish there anymore. It's pretty lucky that we didn't end up hooking any of those lungfish. But I'm gonna head a little bit further down on my kayak, see if I can find any animals, and see if I can catch any fish sitting in little snags. I've seen a heap of sooty grunters swimming around. There's a platypus down there. Just as I'm filming this, a little platypus has just come out. We'll jump in the kayak and float down to it, see if we can get close to it. Look at that. Hey, mate. Oh, you snuck past me, mate. Oh no. Oh, that is not what I was fishing for. Alright, I'm glad that came free. We'll jump in, have a snorkel around on this snag, and see the fish that I've been trying to catch for the past 20 minutes. Big sooty grunter, I think there's a pair of them under there. Yep. Oh, that was a big one. Would eels stop eating my bait, please? And stop laughing at me, kookaburras. We're gonna make a fire. It's about midday at the moment. We're gonna keep fishing into the later hours of the day and maybe even go for a bit of a night fish wherever we end up setting up camp tonight. But for the time being, I'm gonna cook up those mullet. All right, hopefully this works. I'll tell you what, we're definitely gonna need a fire tonight if we end up going night snorkeling in here. It's gonna be absolutely freezing. I got my wetsuit, but it'll probably get down to 1 or 2 degrees. I found that if you're seeing big lungfish and big Mary River cod and things that are actually crazy, your mind kind of blocks out the coldness of the water. Saying that, I'll probably only be in there for about 20 minutes before I start shivering. We'll just take all the scales off of it as well. You know, foul hooking a mullet is probably not as good as catching a Saratoga, but I'll take it. There's 1, and here's 2. All right, how good is that? We'll wait for it to die down to coals and chuck these on. Mullet 1, mullet 2. I tell you what, they definitely taste different to saltwater mullet. Not bad at all. Similar to that freshwater barra that me, Brody, and Kurt ate while we were up in Cape York looking for crocodiles. Yeah, it's good. I don't mind mullet at all. Have a go at this up here. You all good, mate? Look at this big turtle. This is a Mary River turtle. This is the biggest species of turtle that actually lives in this river. This is a small one compared to how big they actually get. Now these turtles, what they'll actually do is all of this sandy habitat right here, that's the perfect area and perfect habitat for these turtles to lay their eggs. Oh, and she's in the water. Alright, it's time. Now, the other crazy thing about this adventure is it's actually the full moon at the moment. I'm out here living on this 100-million-year-old river, and I'm about to go snorkeling with living fossils after dark. Pretty crazy adventure. And yeah, who knows what other species will be there at night. But yeah, it's time. We're gonna get the wetsuit on, head back down to that first section of river that we actually started this challenge at, and go swimming with some river monsters. Let's go. So I just got out. How crazy is that? We didn't get to see any Mary River cod, but there's no shortage of lungfish in there. And some of those lungfish that I was swimming with were absolutely massive. I'm not sure if you can actually get a gauge of the size of these things, but they are huge. And I'm so grateful that under the full moon, we got to come out here and swim with a few of them. It's so cool when you see them moving through the water, because when you're sitting on the surface and they're swimming underneath you like that, they look like sharks. They look like freshwater sharks. Luckily, there is no sharks in here. If bull sharks were able to get up this far, they could live in this river because it's fresh water. But there's a lot of man-made weirs that are actually stopping them from getting up this far. But further out, past those weirs, towards the ocean, there are sharks in the Mary River. I think this is going to be a two-part series, this adventure on my channel. So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below if you want to support me. I am so cold right now. I'm gonna head back to camp, get the fire going, and continue the adventure tomorrow. Let's go. I reckon it's about 7 or 8 degrees at the moment. Should get down to maybe 2 or 3 by the morning. But yeah, full moon, night snorkeling. Such a crazy adventure so far. This is the setup. How I'm gonna be sleeping tonight. So good. Tomorrow morning, we're gonna get up before the sun comes up, go down to that pool and try catch that Saratoga. It's cool because within one day we know where all the fish are sitting in those pools, and even though I snorkeled through them and probably spooked them for tonight and today, tomorrow they'll be biting again. So we know where those big fish are sitting that we can potentially catch. Been a big day, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning.